Welcome to Blast of the Stash Shit episode. 154. I didn't write my notes before I started the show. So welcome to Comic Book Show that the only opinions that matters are ours. So it's a comic review show where we pick up the books every Wednesday and blast the books we hate and stash the books we love. As always, we're going to go and jump right into the books. We got Bookend Joe and myself again due to schedule, and you can see the bare whiteness behind me. I'm totally almost ready to move out.
The white void.
The white void. Doing that last transition as another reminder to, actually, it's not a reminder. It's the first time me telling you. We're not going to have a show we may have a show next week. We're not 100% sure on schedule, but definitely won't have a show the following week. But we'll go ahead and jump into the books. We'll start with Joe. What is your first book for the week?
Oh, man. Let's go ahead and blast something down and get that out of the way. Anybody want to take a guess what it is? It's been consecutively, and I'm still buying it like a sucker.
I think I know. Let me see if I can find it in my stack here. Let me see, because I know I got it. Where is it?
It's been consecutively. I've been blasting this. Let's see where we're going.
Yes, there you go.
Thank you, King, for being consistent. It's about all you got going for you, buddy. Look, I don't want to beat up on King too much. I don't know. He thinks it's a good idea. I watched him in an interview not too long ago, and apparently he just doesn't get Batman, right? Because he legitimately thinks he's like, well, I can be Batman, to one of the most all-time classic Batman writers of all time, and that just turned into just the most cringeworthy interview ever. And then I read the comic book, and then I realized, nope, this is the most cringeworthy thing ever. Here's the thing, though. I buy this because the art in it is legit. I love this art styling in it. It's got some action in it. And every now and then, King does make some reference points where I got to look something up. And I kind of like doing that to some degree. I'm a little bit of a nerd in that fashion, right? The particular Russian story that they mentioned in here about the animals in the pit is actually exactly the way they described it in there, if you were to summarize it. The point of the story, however, I think King was trying to relate that to them being in the pit, and Batman ultimately tricking his father from another dimension is the best way to do it, Thomas Wayne, the same way the fox tricked the pig. But I think they kind of missed the mark on that one. And there's many arguments about the animals in the pit and what it's supposed to mean. The truth is, it's an allegory that you could reference for whatever purpose you need to. It's very utilitarian that way. You can use it to prove anything that you want because there's no ending to the story. I got where he was going with it, man, and it was there too. Like I thought it would be. As soon as they mentioned the story, I knew they were going to try to reference it visually, but it just for some reason missed the mark. I didn't get it. I didn't like the way they did it. And again, these are personal opinions. I don't want to beat up on the guy any more than I already have. But luckily, he's not going to be writing this much more. But then again, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So let's see what happens. Maybe something will come out of it. So yeah, I got to blast it.
Yeah. I'm in the wrong screen. I'm trying to click over to me. There I am. Hello. So he did reference the story earlier in this run when Batman went to go fight, I think it was KGB's when he was going to Russia. He was talking about this story. So this is just retelling that, going back to that. And this gives a little more explanation of why maybe that story held more of a reason for Bruce Wayne. He talks about constantly, his dad was telling the story about how Bruce would fall asleep and constantly wake up screaming. He wasn't sure if it was because the story was scary or it just. So
that was all gibberish. Yeah, that whole section there, I was like, you understand that the Batman you're talking to is not your son. He's legitimately not your son. It just looks like him. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand the connection of relevance there. I don't know. I'm talking.
But I definitely have to agree. The art, Janin, is that the artist's name in here? Awesome art. I love the art. I'm not too fond of the whole bare-chested Batman, but with a cowl. That's kind of weird. If this is all delusion and is all in his head, why would he be doing that? Why would he say, you know what? I had no shirt on. I'm just going to have a cowl.
It's like some sexual fantasy, the gimp. It's a trunk.
I think they there was another, or maybe a couple more comics where Batman just had the cowl. Once when he was fighting Ra's al Ghul, I remember that cover because Batman's laying on his back with just the cowl on, no shirt, which is really weird. But yeah, man, I do love the fact that he constantly goes back and touches on stories he's touched on, talked about before, which is great. It makes it seem like it's all connected. But we have the City of Bane coming up next. That's the next big arc. Hopefully that's going to be pan out to be good. And I've said all along, I really hope he has some cool ending in sight where it wraps everything up and it makes people go, aha, now it makes sense. But I just don't see it happening. That's the only downside to this. I think he's on for 11 more issues after the City Bane arc. I think he's done. I think he's going to write Batman, Catwoman. So,
yeah,
which I'll probably end up picking up, even though I will be just talking shit about that too. Okay, let's go on to my book for first book for the week, and that is. Oh no, I dinged it up. I threw it on the floor earlier. Wolverine versus Blade. $5.99 cover price on this. Guggenheim and Wilkins, writer and artist. Dude, I love the freaking art in this book. This was some clean art. I'm wondering if it was all done on a computer or not, but this is definitely some very, very clean art. The whole story where Wolverine and Blade, they essentially think they're the leader of this vampire cult, and so they're fighting, thinking, "No, you're the leader because this is what the prophecy says." No, you're the leader. This is what the prophecy said. Until they realize that Blade was kind of right to some degree. Yes, Wolverine is the leader of this vampire cult because it was a clone of Wolverine.
Yeah, a Wolverine is
a Wolverine. So. But I mean, the art in this thing was awesome. It is definitely kind of graphic. Wolverine's claws going through vampire's skull and cut into 3 pieces. We find out some vampires have new powers with laser beam shooting out of their eyes. Blade trying to figure out how that vampire got those powers, but it is kind of a mistaken identity. They both realize that no, wait, we're the good guys. We need to work together in order to defeat this common foe. Nothing really new or outstanding with it, but a good fun, light read, good action, great art. It's a stash for me. It was good. I think this is just a one shot, but still awesome. It's a stash.
Yeah, I have to agree. This is a hard stash for me. This is just good comic book, classic American comic book storytelling. America, right? What do? You basically do the same trope. They meet up. They think the other one's the bad guy. They fight each other because there's some vague picture in a prophecy. You're absolutely right. But then what they don't realize is that technically somebody has taken the genes of mutants and put them in a vampire, and of course you got to make the first one look like Wolverine. This is where the one with the eye shooting laser thing kind of happened. I think they're going to follow up with some more stories because that's obviously Cyclops, right?
I didn't think about that. Boo.
Yeah. So apparently somebody has gotten their hands on some mutant genes and they're putting them inside of vampires. And what do we get to do? We get slicing and dicing better than Gordon Ramsay does. They're slicing through this stuff like it doesn't exist. It is awesome. I like that one scene in particular. The guy was like, "Hey, you don't have any wooden stakes," and he's like, "Just cut their head, like slice through their face."
Yeah,
it was just great. The jokes that did happen in here, they landed. You got it. Great artwork. If it was done all on computer, I don't care. That has to take time. I wouldn't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But and I just love that the cover right there tells you the story. I love it when you get a good synopsis of the story. I saw the cover and I was like, I got to get that. I don't know why. I don't know what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I did have one criticism about this particular book, this is not a number one. This is nothing more than a replay because it says so right there in the yellow box from a previous arc run of Blade and Wolverine, and it's just picking up from there. So I don't know if you want to call it a relaunch or whatever, but this isn't really a first issue. This is a continuation from another arc. We talked about this on Comic Core. I'm kind of critical of that. So I just want people to know it's not number one. As soon as you open it up, within the first 3 pages, you're going to get a reference to, in a yellow box, to where this story kind of already took place about the Promise.
Yeah, you're talking about the time where Wolverine says that he was stabbed in the neck with the vampire blood or vampire serum. That you're talking about? Yeah, I saw that too, and I'm like, I don't remember that anywhere. Does it say
the story? But yeah,
what story that was in? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
I do have one criticism about one of the jokes, and that is when it's the flashback, and they're fighting the vampires in the temple, and Blade has a marshmallow. I do have to criticize that. I thought that was like, come on, that's not Blade like. It's funny, but is Blade? Does he have a special pouch for marshmallows? Is that what it is?
You know what? Back when Blade came out, when we were looking at the '90s, everybody had pouches. Like everybody had tons of pouches.
I just don't see. It's Blade number 5, 2007. I just don't see him gearing up for a fight. Marshmallows or silver powder or whatever. But that was good. That was a great book.
I thought it was too. I guess I gotta find something.
Yeah, you gotta find something.
You gotta find something now. Let's go ahead and blast another book. I hate to do this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and blast Avengers number 21.
Thank you.
Right? Not really sure the point of this. I mean, the only thing that was important, I'll go ahead and spoil it, 'cause it's the only good thing in the book, is, of course, we get some more Mephisto goods. Or Mephisto, what's his name?
Mephisto, yeah.
Yeah, Mephisto. We get some more goodness. I've always liked him as a character. The stuff with Black Panther breaking into Coulson's office, that was pretty interesting. Everything else takes place in a hot tub where it's cool to sit around naked, and She-Hulk's beast body looking thing comes in there. And we get a lot of banter going back and forth. Some of it's not really fitting to the character. Some of it just doesn't make sense. Also, Ghost Rider, I am tired of this insecure superhero talking. Every time he talks, it's, I don't know if I'm worthy to be a demon. Right? I keep getting that feeling. It's like, oh my God. I do like the knockoff DC superheroes that they're outright stealing right there. Where it's mimics of DC characters. That's actually kind of cool. I don't mind that. As long as they do something. But they didn't. And they let me down. And then we get more naked hot pool hanging out. And that's it. It's over. Yep. Thank you for. I wish somebody paid me to read comic books because I'm kind of bad spending money on this. I didn't need this story. Yep. That's. I don't have anything exciting to say about this one. That's it. I guess I could do the usual thing that most people that read stories to read them. The art was good. Like, I know what good art is. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so this whole thing is like they're just taking a break from the War of the Realms. They're finally at, okay, we have a victory. Let's just kind of just relax a little bit. I thought it was funny that Stark was sitting there with his helmet on until I found out kind of later why he had a helmet. He was controlling drones and stuff like that, cleaning up. Because Cap's like, oh, we don't have time to wait around. We got a lot of cleanup to do. There's a lot of this and that. And Tony's like, yeah, I got drones out cleaning stuff up. Don't worry about it. And Cap's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I can do it for 5 minutes. You know, they're all naked, though. They're all just like, he's like, I don't have a swim trunk. I'm like, neither do we. Come on, jump on in. Water's fine. When I first started reading this, there's a lot of insecurities in this with quite a few characters. I'm like, did Tom King write this? Who wrote this?
Hey, what's everybody's mental damage in this one that we need to be aware of?
So, because Thor's constantly has to pick up his hammer. He's being dramatic about it. And then toward the end of the book, where you're talking about Robbie Reyes, he has a couple moments where he's kind of insecure. One on the boat where he's terrified. He's got the cool little gray streak going through his hair. I don't know. I don't remember that in the earlier Robbie Reyes, but I could be wrong. But they're all the Avengers sitting around in the hot tub, and they all have their own little insecurities. Um, Thor, what was that? Did I just stop being worthy? Should I pick up the hammer again? What if I can't? Those little blurb like that. Like, come on, dude. I don't want that. What I want is my superheroes to go kick the ass from War of the Realms, come back, relax, and just sit in a hot tub, talk about how badass they are, not their insecurities. Those are the superheroes that I want.
I don't get it. Like I played sports in high school, and I remember if we won, right, and then we're going to the showers or whatever, like we're high-fiving each other, talking about how badass we are.
Yeah.
We're not like, wonder if I'm still worthy. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. Like that's not even. And you know what? I get the difference between insecurity and doubt in oneself. It's they played off the doubt route. Like, did I really do anything in this war? Was I focused? Was I in my game? What's the next thing? Those are doubts. Insecurities are I'm not good enough, right?
Yeah.
When you that route, those are two different things. And I think maybe the writer doesn't understand, and it's easy to get them confused in certain contexts. And I think maybe the writer was trying to show doubt, and it came off as insecurity. That's a very common thing that people do in writing, but I don't. This is just the self-doubt throughout well, it's not even doubt, it's insecurity throughout the entire thing. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man up, you're a superhero.
Yeah.
Or woman up, or whatever the case may be.
I think Mike would stash just because of the fire sharks.
That and Naked Hulk walking around.
Yeah, probably that too. So talking about Hulk, we have another cringy scene at the first half of the book. Her and Blade, and she's just like, "Do vampires even flirt? Should I flirt back?" And all she does, Hulk need drink. Blade want drink with Hulk. But she has this more of an intelligent conversation in her head, but doesn't verbalize that. I don't know if that's not possible. But that whole thing was just like, come on.
I know it's the entire time I'm reading it, I'm like, oh my god.
And I don't remember Man-Thing being attached to Blade.
No, that came of the vampire run where the stormtrooper looking guy, Colonel Shadow, he had carved off a piece of Man-Thing that turned into that, so he had free access to stakes all the time. And then when they battled the Avengers, Blade he kind of started hanging out with Blade, so he kind of makes spikes for him.
Oh, so that was earlier in the Avengers run.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because this is the first Avengers book I've read in a while. I mean, I have all of them. I just been blowing my priority to read. And it looks like he's getting ready to, where Blade says, I could practically taste it. Look, he's getting ready to lick Man-Thing there. I'm like, oh, what are you doing, dude? That's just disgusting. I was a little bit confused, but yeah, unfortunately, I was hoping this was going to be a better book, being, like I said, the first Avengers books I've read in a while. But man, was it? It was awful. My only hope is Mephisto's going to be in here and he's going to change the timeline and make everybody forget all this insecurity shit and make them good guys again. Like we did with Spider-Man. He changed his whole past. And one other thing about the front. What's up with this little creepy dude in the corner looking back at you?
I saw that and I was going to say something about that. What is that about? Is that a villain? Like,
I don't know.
Getting a hint towards something? Please let it mean something. And the writer just didn't want to creep me out with his constant staring at me. Like, that's just crazy.
He kind of looks like an older version of the kid next door, a Spike from Toy Story that destroys all the toys. Like he's like, oh, I'm going to kill somebody. Okay. Let's talk about a book that you did not read. It's an independent book by Image, by Colin Bunn too. Unearthed. Anything I see Colin Bunn, I pick up because he's got some great horror writing stuff. So essentially, what this is, down in Mexico, they find this cave with all this virus and things down inside the cave. So they send a special team down to Mexico to help this doctor out because a lot of people are dying from this virus. They meet this little Mexican kid. He's like maybe 8 years old. He's dumping this pink gunk into this barrel, and he's leading them to the doctor. And they're like, "Where's doctor? Oh, doctor's right here." And it is this nasty, grotesque, bloated, disconfigured. I don't know what the hell. Oh, let me get on me so I can actually bigger picture, or was it a right screen? Of that, that's the doctor there. So the doctor's already been infected with this so-called virus or whatever that was down in this cave. They end up sending a special military team and doctors down in there to figure out what's going on. The general, is it general? He's got some funky issues going on in his head. He's got a big old beer gut. That's the leader of this team, sending the people down inside this cave. And once you get inside the cave, they find another group of people, some mercenaries, to try to take their stuff, but they end up getting attacked by a giant blob-looking monster. So now they're down in the cave. The cave has collapsed. They have no way out. They have so much oxygen. I think they have each have 12 hours of oxygen or something like that. And the only way they can figure out how to get out of this cave to survive is to go through this door they know nothing about, where all these aliens, this virus is coming through. It is. It's good. I definitely pick up issue 2 for sure. I don't know if you saw the picture of the distorted people by this virus. This is that doctor that they were supposed to go meet to help with this virus. He's already been infected by this. You see, he's all distorted, bloated, licking his own ass, pretty much. Good use of visuals on this. Great story. I dig it. It kind of reminds me of Aliens to some degree, because they're down in an environment they don't know nothing about, and fighting creatures they don't know how to fight. But definitely good stuff. I'll pick up issue 2 for this one for sure. I'm not sure if it's a limited run or not, but definitely picking up Unearthed number 2. What was one you read this week that I didn't?
I got to do stuff. I don't know what you read. I'll try this, because I really like this book.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't know what I didn't read, yeah.
I'm going to talk about Weapon Plus. Did you read this?
I did read that, but we can go with that. That's a good book.
Oh my God, this is so good. I love this. All right, so here's the concept, the main concept of the story, right? So Wolverine, Captain America, and everybody else has been injected with some sort of serum or has been experimented on is actually one program. So it's not like the Super Soldier program and then the Weapon X program. It's all legitimately think like DARPA, government DARPA, and all the things it funds. So there's a DARPA out there of doing this stuff. I love explaining it to me. And even when I read the summary, I was like, there's no way. That's stupid, right? And then I started reading the comic book, and it kind of started making sense. I was like, oh my God, it can all be connected. It's conspiracy theory, yeah, but it's great. And then come to find out it is all connected. And we get Captain America doing some cool Captain America stuff. Coates, if you're listening, great reference to what Captain America does. And then Wolverine. And there's always been a respect there, but a conflict there as well between those two characters. And I can appreciate that. And they definitely have respect for each other either way. So that's really good. An overambitious scientist who wants to be more than he is, but it's outside his means, is a little jealous, a little mean about it, and he's bitter. And he's kind of running this program, and he's inventing some crazy stuff. And we kind of get this Frankenstein sort of Captain America, not good. We get bears. We get proof that all the things are kind of connected together. The only thing that confused me is I don't know this, the hologram that kept popping up. I don't know who that is. It's some kind of French ninja or something, I think it said at one point. But the hologram that's kind of giving up all the information, that's making the connections and everything. I don't know that character. I would like to know that character. So if anybody out there knows, please put it in the comments down below. That would be interesting. You can also find their references to other comic books because it says delayed projects on a whiteboard. It's Brute Force, Sulfur, Venom, Power. It names off all these other superhero characters. Then it has the lead doctor on there. Notice one of them is Nick Fury. It's funny. So they're constantly making sure that we reference other things. I don't know what. I guess maybe it's Nuke. Yeah, Nuke. November uniform Kilo Echo.
That's
So
what I was thinking.
and then in the boxes, and you really got to look at this splash page. Especially this is a splash page I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
You look around there, you see the Weapon X helmet, you see a samurai sword. It's like highlights back in the day. Find all the different things. Axion, Sickle, Stain, Oscorp, like everything's connected to a secret cabal of genius scientists. And man, I love the way they're making the connections. This is an interesting read. It's got a little spy, a little action, and it throws in little dashes of humor from Wolverine and banter from Wolverine and Captain America. What a great read. Good job. I hope this continues on and it doesn't get all weird and turn into a Tom King thing, but definitely a stash, hard stash for me. That's not going anywhere. I might even read it again. I don't know.
Yeah, if you look at the last page, it says next weapon plus, weapons free, and it shows in Roman numerals for the characters. So we have 2, 4, 5, 6, and 9. And you go back to that little list, and it shows number 4 is Man Thing, number 6 is Power Man, Venom, and I don't know who number 9 is. Psych. I don't know who that is. And number 2, I don't know. That might have been that bear. Who knows? But yeah, this was great. I actually love this book. Story-wise, I enjoyed this more than the Wolverine Blade. Art-wise, I don't think it compared quite art-wise to Wolverine Blade. Great splash page with Cap and Wolverine jumping into the fray. You know, that whole two-page, that's just flat out awesome. Cap's being the Boy Scout, he's trying to save the people. Wolverine just doesn't care really as much. I mean, he cares, but not the same as Cap does. I love the scene where they got the little hipster there with his beard and his phone. He's filming it, and Wolverine's coming out all burnt, and he grabs the dude's beard, like, oh, drinks it. Great, that's a great scene. That hits for me. And I was looking up trying to find that hologram's name. It says it's somewhere in here, and I forgot what it was.
And they make a reference to he's French or something like that. I would have to go back and read it, but
Wolverine says he's not really French. He just likes speaking in a French accent.
Yeah. He's some kind of spy or something. I don't know, but apparently it's our version or their version of the question. I guess maybe I don't know, whatever that is.
But yeah, this is a great story. I love this. The flashbacks going back and forth between the Doctor that constantly says, "Hey, I want," or this guy will constantly want to be the part of the program, but they keep kind of denying him. But they use him for other things. Yeah, great banter between Cap and Wolverine, and you got this crazy looking Cap, all stitched up toward the end. That fight, he said, "No, I'm the real guy. I think my name is Adam. Did I do good? The commies won't ever get the secrets in their heads if you bash their brains in." So, that's just this great kind of cool evil Cap kicking the crap out of everybody. Yeah, definite stash, and I'll pick up issue 2. Of course, Marvel has to have that $4.99 cover price on their number 1, which is kind of like, oh God, you're killing me, Marvel. Why you got to do that to me? Okay, let's talk about something else here. Let's talk about this one. I was surprised I ordered this. Normally, I don't order books about religion. Honestly, I just like. I shy away from it. Not that I'm an uber religious person by any means. I'm not easily offended when it comes to religion. I just don't like books necessarily that make fun of religion. So I tend to pass on them. When I got it in my stack, I'm like, did I really order that? And Second Coming by Ahoy Comics, which was originally supposed to be printed by DC Comics. And DC Comics backed out because of the too controversial for them. They didn't want to do it. So Ahoy picked it up. So basically, this is the story about, Jesus says, "Hey, I want to go down. I can take care of the thing." And he's like, and he ended up getting crucified. And God's like, "Dude, it lasted like 36 years, whatever it was. I don't remember how old Jesus was when he died.
33. Yeah.
33.
Mhm.
And he waits 2,000 years and ended up sending him down again because there's this new superhero, Superman-like, and God thinks that Jesus can learn from him and kind of be like this superhero. So he sends him back down to kind of follow in the footsteps of this superhero. I don't know. I think it was great, but I mean, I definitely won't be picking up issue 2. The art was okay. I mean, the superhero is not necessarily the total good guy that they make him out to be, and he gets kind of pissed at Jesus because he knocks all his people out and Jesus heals them and they get away. That was kind of funny. The whole part at the very beginning when Adam and Eve are in the garden, and and God tells them, "Do not eat the forbidden fruit." There's a penis-shaped fruit and a vagina-shaped fruit, and they're eating away on it. So that was, oh my god. But I don't see myself picking up issue 2. I think this is gonna be enough for me. Yeah, it's a blast for me. What do you think of it, Joe?
I liked it. It's a stash for me. And again, it's hard to be critical of something religious when there's religious people out there or people that don't believe in it, because this is a very passionate subject for people.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just go ahead and draw my line in the sand. I'm neutral. If you want to believe in something, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm more worried about people's actions than I am what their faith is in the meta.
I agree with that.
So as I read this, I found it, the jokes landed for me. Like, there's funny jokes in here. I got it. I got this person's perspective of religion from it as kind of being this kind of weird thing, and God kind of being more like a father figure than an omniscient being. And maybe he might be, and then throwing a twist in there, like he might be a little disappointed in Jesus for not, stepping up and manning up a little bit, instead just letting him crucify you. That was kind of his take on it. However, I did find the very passionate story in here about Jesus as a friend. And I think that is the story that probably interests me the most. Because as I read the editorial in the back about, this person's views on religions and everything else, they have this very great story in here about Jesus's best friend growing up. Is this accurate or not? Probably not. But it's still a great story about how his friend was the one that actually ends up building these crosses, which ultimately Jesus is eventually nailed to, or has to drag and nail to. And then he kind of explains that that's his view on the world. He still forgave his friend. So that's kind of interesting. I thought that really kind of touched. So it's not just all, penis and vagina humors and aliens in heaven and, wonky looking robots. There's a little bit of thought put behind this, even if it was just for a minute to give a viewpoint. That kind of makes sense. So I kind of like that. So it wasn't just all, make fun of religion, make the superhero seem like he's the one that makes sense because he's boots on the ground. But it kind of told this other story too. And I like that. And then we go right into the funny stuff of hitting people with a boot or knock off Pokemon cards or whatever. Good stuff. So I like it for that. It's definitely a book I would not read at face value. I would definitely read between the panels a little bit, maybe get a little deeper into it. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate, his view on the timeline of history in the Old Testament is actually pretty accurate. I was surprised by it. Most people get all that kind of mixed up. But that was actually, especially the whole thing with, there's the statue that they're putting together. I think it's on page 3. And it talks about Cush, the immortal, and then it kind of has it scratched out in Nimrod. That actually happened. Cush was an immortal god at the time, and when Nimrod placed himself as the overall ruler of all mankind, they legitimately scratched out Cush and did Nimrod in there. This statue still exists today. It's actually kind of funny. I don't know if that's accident or if they did that on purpose, but that's legitimate. That's kind of funny. And just things along those lines. It wasn't unheard of for Romans to pay women to sleep with them. In the Jewish faith, having a friend over is a very honored occasion and generally become part of the family. So yeah, I liked it, and I love the satiricalness of it, of God just being a disappointed dad. It was good.
There are a couple panels here where Jesus says, "What the hell is that?" It's a cross, symbol your follows are everywhere. Trigger warning.
Yeah.
You know, it talks about why would they make such a big deal about that? Because the Romans were handing those things out, all things like totes.
Yeah, everybody was getting crucified back then.
So why is it a symbol for him? That's kind of what is. I mean, good question.
It's a good question. It's a legitimate good question.
Okay, you're up with your next book, Joe.
Man, I talked so long on that one. I thought I picked it.
No, I picked that one.
Let's do a big shout out to one of our members by reviewing this book. All right, this is Black Hammer and Justice League. Did you read this?
I did not.
Oh my God! So we'll talk about something you haven't read yet. All right, first off, Drew Manchu out there, wherever you're at, buddy. Man, I should have listened to you and picked up Black Hammer from the beginning. I'm very interested in these characters. However, this book was maybe not as eventful as most comic book number ones are going, but I think the point of this book was to draw interest into these characters and how they're going to flip-flop these characters' environments. So now the people from the Black Hammer universe are in, let's just say Metropolis, right? Because that's a DC city. And then the people from Metropolis are in whatever land the Black Hammer people are from. Apparently right now it's just a farm, which Clark Kent is perfectly at peace with. But then we start finding the similarities between these people. Who's like Batman? Who's like this? There's a lot of similarities going on. The art in it, a little rough. I mean, it's not my particular cup of tea. Not that it bothered me in any way, but it just seemed like there's always like, and I don't know why they do this. So like when you want to draw an old guy, what you do is instead of doing like eyes and a face, you just draw extra lines on their face. Like I don't get that. I guess you're trying to show that they're wrinkly, but still, I don't know. We have a character kind of, we'll just say he's the bad guy for now until we know better. It's kind of like Mixiplex. You know, apparently he's warping universes. We get that stupid starfish character in here. That's kind of cool. But I think what just interests me the most is I think I'm getting some truly original characters that are kind of sort of similar, right? I'm familiar with it. I like this old guy floating around that just says gibberish because he's kind of giving clues about what's happening and nobody seems to be paying attention or catching the clues. And, of course, we end with him in space and the Green Lantern Corps coming to, I don't know, maybe save him or figure out what's going on, where everybody went. This thing just asked a lot of questions, and it seems like there's great answers for the questions, especially if you're not known to the Black Hammer universe. They tried to explain each character in the beginning of this story, just to kind of give you some reference point to bounce off with. But I think it's just the interestingness of them. Plus, I always like crossover events. I'm a sucker for a crossover event. So yeah, this is a stash for me for now until we get into it. And again, big shout out to Drew Manchu. I know he's a huge Black Hammer fan. And damn, I should have listened to him and picked it up because I'm a little lost on what these characters do. I hope it gets explained better.
Yeah, I passed on that Black Hammer stuff too. I remember when it came out and I'm like, it doesn't really look to me. And then I passed and I think I'm kind of regretting it too. But I'll talk about Savage Sword of Conan number 7, Jim Zub. I think I'm going to verge to dropping this. That's after this issue here. So Conan's drawn like a buff dude from Dark Crystal. Who's the main character of Dark Crystal? That little elfin dude. He kind of looks like him, but he's buff. So that kind of threw me out of the whole story. So in this whole story, Conan comes across a group of guys that are beating up on one guy and saves him. And he says, hey, I tell you what, I'll pay your worth in gold. If you protect me, you kind of go with me on this. So they end up going to this gambling den. And the guy says, hey, this is my brother. He's here to protect me. So they let him in. But this guy owes a whole bunch of debt. And so they end up killing him, poisoning him. Like in the first round of this game, it's essentially like 21. They call it Serpent's Bluff. So each player tried to assemble cards in front of them, totaling as close to 13 as possible without going over. So it's basically 21 is what they're playing. But there are special cards that add complications. A serpent that can eat other cards, adjusting the total. A king that protects a serpent attack, and a witch allows the player to see a hidden card. So that's what they're going through. He plays one round. I think they're supposed to play 5 rounds total. This guy to clear his debt up. But they end up poisoning him and dying, and so they have Conan. They're surrounding Conan and they said, hey, you have to finish playing his hand or we're just going to kill you. So at the end of the book, let's say, where is it? Conan says, deal me in, at the end of the book. And it says, hither came Conan the gambler. And I'm in my head. You got to know when to hold him, and that's the whole thing that popped into my head. So the whole cheesy part of "deal me in" and that it's definitely not as good as the main Conan story. Even though the main Conan story is still kind of waning a little bit, just because it's like they're not getting to that current story of old man Conan and they're sacrificing him. But I think this may be my last issue of Savage Sword of Conan. So it's a blast just because of the Kenny Rogers gambler crap. You're up with your book, Joe.
Did you pick up Reaver?
I did, yes.
Let's talk about Reaver. Oh, my Lord. All right. I know a lot of people like this cover, but I'll be honest, I wasn't really into this cover. I never read the synopsis on it. How I actually ended up picking this up is actually funny. It's much the same way I picked up Avatar when it came out. So I'm sitting there picking up all my comic books, and I got a stack of them, right? And I got some older stuff, too. The guy finally got some Golden Age stuff I had been looking for. So I got like a stack of comic books. And I set them down for a second because you know what happens when you hold on to new comic books too long, right? They get smudged. So I set them down for a second, let my hands dry off, and I'm just kind of looking at some other stuff before I take it up to the counter. And I swear to God, I accidentally picked this up and carried it with me.
Oh, really?
Right? So I'm sitting there, and they're going through it. And of course, I'm not paying attention. And I'm breaking out the Mama Don't Know money card, right? Because that's evidence in our house with receipts. So I hand it to them. I get in the car, and I'm going through everything. And I was like, oh, wow, I picked it up. Well, there we go. I got to read it for Blaster, stash it. And I sat in my lounger, and I turned this from page to page. And I thought, oh, my God, this is good. Talking about a good accident. Oh, my Lord, this is a classic, very classical tale. It's a quest story of sorts, right? With the spin, with everybody, instead of having the one rogue scallion thief, they're all criminals, right? A lot of people have been relating it to Suicide Squad, and I think it's the whole prison thing, not really the characters. I think the characters, maybe their archetype is not unique, but they're each kind of unique in their own right, meaning not generally, but more specifically. We have a wildling lady who can fight and has sharp teeth. We have a giant of sorts, or something that's objectionably stronger. We have a leader who's a sergeant, and we also have the prissy, egotistical hero as well. Probably going to end up being more of a trickster later. That just makes sense. And apparently we have a wizard with a silent guard. And they're going to go on a quest. Now, in some places, I did get kind of confused. I'm like, well, wait a second. In the beginning of the story, this happened. That doesn't make any sense now. So something magical happened there, and I don't think it was explained to us very well. The transition of it anyways in storytelling. But overall, I'm really liking this. I really think this is a great book. It reads very smooth other than that one little hiccup. The art in it makes sense. We know that there's a war, a battle of some sort that needs to end. We don't know who the good guys and bad guys are in this war yet because they can always flip that very easily. So, yeah, this is a good first issue where we got introduced to our new team of characters going on a quest. We know their motivations and reasons why. So now let's see what they do on the quest. I think it's going to be interesting. It's just classic. It's not even comic book storytelling. It's just classic storytelling. in the same genre as Odysseus or Robin Hood or anybody that goes on a quest with a group of people. And I think those kind of stories need to kind of come back up every now and then because there's always a great moral lesson in them. And this is going to rank right up there with it. Definitely going to be picking up issue 2. Hard stash for me.
Yeah, for me too. Yeah, the Suicide Squad references are pretty strong in this, where they have the bad guys and they're taking them to use it to do a mission that they know that they're going to die on. They have the potion that if they don't drink the antidote every 24 hours, they die. Same thing with Suicide Squad. If you don't follow orders, you don't get the potion, you die.
Mm-hmm.
They have that one, like the wildling girl. It's kind of like Beetlejuice in a couple panels. She's got the dark eyes and the kind of crazy hair. She's probably my favorite one of those. Most people think I'd relate to the big guy, but I like that wildling girl. And that one guy at the beginning, the blonde guy, is he looks like a murderer or what is he? That you tell the egotistical.
Yeah, the archetype. His thing was he was in jail for disobeying orders because he was
that all it was. I thought it was something more than that.
He disobeyed orders, and apparently he got into. I'm not sure if he got into a fight or he did something to his commanding officer that landed him in there.
Okay.
Either kill him or fight him or something along those lines.
Yeah, but then you got the guy, the leader of this group, the sergeant, who's essentially left his commanding officer to die in the field because he was more worried about self-preservation over that. And he's attempting to kill himself, and they said, "Nope, we got an offer for you." But yeah, so this is Suicide Squad meets Dungeons and Dragons to some degree. Definitely, it's good stuff. The sergeant, doesn't necessarily want to kill people. That little wildling girl kills a whole bunch of people. He's like, well, they were innocent guards. They didn't do anything. We could have let them survive. But these people don't care. There's murderous people who hold life to very low. And then you got the guy at the end rising from the pit of blood. That's not something necessarily we've new either. We've seen that in Hellboy and stuff like that. But definitely, yeah, it's a stash, and I'll pick up issue 2 for sure to follow out where this is going. This was kind of a surprise to me. I don't think I read the synopsis on that either. But that's definitely good. It's a stash for me too. Let's look up something else. Let's talk about where are we at for time? We're at 48 minutes. Let's talk about this. Let's talk War of the Realms Omega.
Oh, yeah.
So essentially, this is just a wrap up of the War of the Realms stuff and introduction to new titles. What's that?
I would say it's more of a launch.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wrap up and then launch into these 4 or 5 new titles that are going to. So kind of because it's telling a story here. So we have Daredevil and where is his? What's his name? God dang it. Keeper of the Gate.
Heimdall,
thank you. Talking about where Daredevil's not worthy because he can't hear the sounds anymore from the sword. Thinks the sword's lost all its magic capabilities. And then it jumps into, says, and that's kind of the picture that shows the other 4 stories, showing Daredevil those other 4 stories, because Heimdall's able to use that sword to show what's going on with the other people. And of course, we have Jane Foster, who is no longer Thor, but she turned into Valkyrie, which is a series starting out. And then we have the story on the Frost Giants and Loki. And apparently, this is a new character. There's Durf, or how you pronounce his name. That little Frost Giant.
Durf.
Yeah. Yep. So that's his first appearance, and so he may jump into something. Who knows? Then we have the Punisher story, which is probably my absolute favorite one.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Just because he barbecues, people are stealing food, and he's like, eat this frost giant. And he barbecues him. Like, people can go eat that. You know, the guy with the knife out, like, yeah, I'm gonna go carve me off some.
Saw some paper plates.
Do you know what frost giant tastes like? Maybe it's not even good for you. You never know. Not to mention being torched with a freaking flamethrower, all that fuel and stuff on there. But
He's what you'll eat when you're starving.
I guess. Yeah, the Punisher one is my absolute favorite one of that run. And then the last one, oh no, that's it. That's the last one.
Well, it finishes up with another Daredevil. The end.
Yeah. I was thinking there was another, because it shows on the front. It shows Valkyrie, Loki, Malachi, and Punisher. I was thinking there was another one.
Right. It's what it is it's the launch into Valkyrie #1, Loki #1, and then Punisher, Kill Krull, and then also the additive of the sticks for Daredevil.
Yeah, that's right.
And also, it kind of plays into the next Thor story too because of what happened. But
yeah, the King Thor. Yeah, but definitely Punisher Kill Crew is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most out of all of these. But I mean, it's a good introduction to what's coming up. I don't know if I'd pay $5 for it, but yeah, it's nice to know what's going on next in Marvel and in those stories. So, what'd you think of Omega?
I liked it. I like this. Daredevil, that he's not a god anymore, because him constantly whining about hearing everything was starting to get kind of annoying. I got it the first couple of issues, but it seemed like it was just constant. So I'm glad he's not the god anymore. I am curious about these sticks, what they can do from the eternal burning tree.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of want to know more about that. Also, what more does a blind man need than 2 sticks?
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Get the irony in that? Like that's. I love this Punisher story. I think I'm definitely going to be getting the kill. I'm assuming it's Crew.
I think it's Kill Crew. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be getting that. I really like that story. I love it when he's walking down the street with a grenade launcher, and there's that giant devil dog, and he's just like doesn't even faze him. He just points out his grenade launcher and shoots it in the face, and just keeps on walking.
Yeah.
That's just how cool Punisher is. And this whole thing that they've been playing up with Punisher, and the war's not over, and he's basically in paradise, with the War of the Realms, just going around doing what he does best. And I mean, even his own run in War of the Realms was probably the more, I don't know, sick, or I don't even know the word for it. It was just so savage of him, right? It was just killing prisoners, killing whoever he wants, kill. I'm in paradise, pretty much. The Loki story, I'll be honest, I was not interested in the Loki story when it was coming out. I pretty much made up my mind that I won't be getting it. But then I noticed the title for Loki 1, and if you look at the O, it has that shield, and it's the same shield, that symbol on the shield that the dwarf has, or the miniature frost giant. I guess that would make him a midget and the giant.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm interested in that. Seems like a heartfelt story, The Valkyrie story, about time, right? We knew we can't get rid of Valkyries, and we knew she had something special about her because of the end of War of the Realms. And of course, Vikings even need a heaven to go to, and apparently, unless there's a Valkyrie, there's no heaven to go to. And I thought they did a beautiful job mixing that up. Is Valkyrie going to be my kind of story? I don't know. I may pick up issue #1. I mean, technically, I have the first appearance right here in my hand, so I don't really need it. But I'll take a look at it. We'll see what we can do with it. Because usually I'm not into. Notice I don't review Thor stories, or I'm not really into that kind of mythological type storytelling. But I mean, I'll check anything out once. I mean, I'll spend $5 on something.
Which one was I have a job to do? Is that I'm looking at the story breakdown. The God and the Devil walking into church. I have a job to do. Born Small and War Orphans. War Orphans was that Punisher story, right?
Right.
Yeah. Juan Ferreira was the artist on that particular one. I like how he draws Punisher there. There are certain artists. I think he's passed away now. He was an artist on Preacher and quite a few of the Punisher run. during the early 2000s. For me, he made Punisher too skinny. I mean, for me, Punisher's got to be a big, kind of bulky guy. I mean, I think Punisher's proportions in that right there are awesome. That's my Punisher, how he looks. You know, big kind of imposing guy versus a skinny guy. Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to be on the same art on that one. He is sweet, good deal. Okay, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about what else did I read here? I don't have. We got enough time to do one more review. Let's talk about Venom number 16. Cates is back on this. So I was a tad confused, but I think I understand it. Because Eddie's talking about not having the symbiote with him anymore. He's on his own. He can feel his own heartbeat now without any interruption from Venom. And talks about all the stuff that he had gone through. Had the that magic stone.
Yeah, the wishing stone.
Wishing stone, yeah. And then it talks about how he hasn't even told Dylan that he's a dad yet, because he's kind of too afraid to do that. Dylan gets sick, but now since Eddie doesn't have the symbiote anymore, he doesn't know. He doesn't have any money. He doesn't have any of that because Venom always took care of that stuff for him, whether it be probably robbing people or whatever it was. So he goes back to the newspaper to try to get a job to get money, and they give him a job to essentially find all these missing children from the War of the Realms. Now Venom keeps popping up in between, when Eddie's trying to say, hey man, I need this job, I need money, and then Venom pops up in the panel, or I can smash your head through the dead desk. And that's probably just like remnants of Venom kind of in there, and that's how Eddie's process stuff. But it keeps popping in and out. Let me out, let me do this. But then you see Eddie all beat to crap, so you know that Venom wasn't actually a part of that. He was using Venom's ferocity, fierceness and everything else, but it wasn't Venom. He's still just a normal human. He ended up going to this bar though and finding a whole bunch of guys who are infected with the Carnage, and goes all full Venom, but as Eddie, and gets the shit kicked out of him, saving a whole bunch of children, but I thought this was pretty good. It talks about how, essentially how you're going to cope with, you're used to having this symbiote take care of everything and extra power, strength, and everything else. But now you don't have that. Now you're just a human trying to figure out how to get by when you're used to that. It was good, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I found this to be just an absolutely creepy issue. Because again, and even the color schemes of it kind of explain it that way too, right? Like War's done in this kind of dark and hard reds with the yellows, and then every time that it's talking about them, it's very animated looking. And then when you get into whenever he turns into Venom, you're using these great kind of visual where you can kind of tell that it's just the vivacity of Venom versus him himself, kicking into doors as you go on. The fight scenes can tell the story by itself. And then you get to this creepy panel right here.
Yeah.
That is just creepy. There's blood on the floor, and he's doing the little absolute carnage symbol that they've been rotating with. That even listening in my mental state when reading it, it just sounded like a raspy, dying voice. It's kind of scary. It was kind of good. And then again, we find out that he's going through all these horrors just to be a hero to one small child that he kind of just found out's his kid, and doesn't really had that conversation about, hey, I'm your dad, by the way, not your brother.
Yeah.
Which sounds more like a conversation you would have in West Virginia than wherever they're at.
I'm your brother and your dad kind of thing.
Right. So yeah, I like this. I love the cameo to the second to the last page there of the Impractical Jokers on TV. That's what they're watching. That's really cool.
Really? I don't think I noticed it. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out.
Overall, the story itself, kind of slow, kind of gave us a relationship, but really it's just more of a we're getting ready for Carnage. It's more of a promotion for that than it is them themselves. So that's pretty cool. But I don't know. I think maybe overall I'm on the fence with this issue. I don't know if I like it or don't like it. I don't know if it was just a ploy to get me to like Carnage or if it actually made sense. I mean, I get the motivations behind it. So I guess for that reason alone, taking care of family, yeah, whether it's brother or son or whatever, um, I like it for that, and I'll stash it for that. And I literally just made up my mind on that. I had no idea even when I read it if I liked it or not. But yeah, I like it. I wish some of the stuff that was going on the cover, I wish some of that was inside the book. That would have been
Which cover did you get? You got the one with them sitting in the soda shop.
Yeah, the one I said I was going to get with the. It looks like the symbiotes on the ice
Yeah.
cream. I thought that might be something. Turns out not something.
Yeah, I got the wrong limb. This is the only one they had, so
Yeah, I saw that one. That looked weird to me. I don't know. It seemed very amateurish. I just didn't. I couldn't get into it.
yeah, I would have picked up cover A if they had it. They didn't have any though. I didn't know that was Impractical Jokers there at that end. And now I see it. And there's Sal. There's
Yeah. As a matter of fact, what was it? We were on Comic Core Friday night, and I thought, oh man, I'm gonna mention it because I caught it. You know, I was gonna say it, and then Drew beat me to it, and I was like,
oh really? Okay, we're an hour in.
we're just getting started.
I know. I've got a handful of books here. Well, let's see. Only 1, 2, 3 other books that I read. That's why don't you start us out on Detective Comics while we're going? What'd you think of that?
Okay. So yeah, Detective Comics. Man, do I love me some Spectre. I know he may not be everybody's hero, but man, this cover right here, the way those eyes pop in the statuesque of it, and then Batman down below it. This is a wrap up to the story, or we assume it's a wrap up to a story of a cult-like Spectre cult of some sort that want to kill Jim Corrigan. And Jim Corrigan, if you don't know, even from the golden age of Spectre, he's the host of Spectre. Right, that's where Spectre goes when he needs to rest, heal, and things along those lines. You know, change it. The story of Spectre has changed several times over, but they followed the more classic one with the mobsters, putting some concrete shoes on them and killing them. That way, they kind of explained that story in here because Spectre is one of those characters. He's kind of in and out a lot. I really wish they would do more with Spectre. It's a very interesting story. It's a religious-based character that's kind of creepy at the same time. You know, Spectre is a force of faith, a force of God in some degree. He provides punishment over such things, and it's his religious duty to do so. So that's always been an interesting character, kind of the scary side of religion. But really love this. Love the way the two work together, even though they don't agree. Batman's no killing, scientific, logical. Spectre, emotional, right or wrong, no gray area, faith-based. Mm-hmm. And the way they mix these two together, I thought it was a beautiful combination. These are the kind of stories that just don't get enough credit. Great artwork in it. It was beautiful. I loved it.
I wasn't a fan of the art in this, man. There were just a lot of weird-looking muscles in this book. Really, I mean, I thought the art was just kind of funky.
I like the artwork in it. I really like what they did with Spectre, with the way that they would smooth out the lines and make him bigger than he appears, or they did the smoke and made him materialize out of it. I thought that's really cool.
So yeah, I guess this is next to Joker. So this must be the end of this 2-story arc here for Spectre. It was okay. I don't know a whole lot about Spectre and the Golden Age character that he is. So it was something was missing a little bit for me, but overall, I mean, it was a decent story. I mean, we get it. Like you said, we have the two different styles: the no killing, the I'll do what I have to do in order to make sure Corrigan stays alive. So it was okay. It's Tomasi, I think, still writing that. Yeah, Tomasi's still writing that. So I'll continue to pick up Detective Comics. But let's go into lightning round now that we're over an hour.
Lightning round.
Go ahead there, Joe.
All right, let's get through the lightning round. My last independent, well, it's not my last independent. I'm going to say my last independent for the last, because I kind of have a little bit of a shout out. I went ahead and picked up this Bitter Root. This is their summer or red summer special. This is a great book if you want to know more about the people in the kind of universe of Bitter Root and who they are and their motivations and what they're good and why they do what they do. Other than that, the stories were kind of at best. It's kind of hard to follow because they're in different time frames and different parts. So just be cognizant of that. You may get sort of lost, but think of each story as its own representation in a different timeline, and you'll be fine. Moving on to DC, got myself some of this Superman Year of the Villain. Yep, got some of that. Pretty much all I got to say about that. Not really much going on in this book, other than we get they're doubling down on this story about Krypton, and Jor-El was actually part of the. It's a mess. It's just a mess. It's all out of whack. Event Leviathan. This is good. What if the Red Hood, right, is Leviathan? Well, that's apparently what all the detectives seem to think. So they're going after Red Hood right now. Obviously, we know that's probably not going to be the case, but a lot of the motives seem to be kind of in sync with that. For a bunch of detectives, that's kind of a long shot. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's cool to see some of these characters you don't really get to see a whole lot of come back into continuity. Naomi, this is the last of this issue. Oh, yeah, number 6. Hey, started off really slow. First 3 issues, I'm like, oh my God, just do something. Something happened. And then all of a sudden she's got this bracelet. She finds out she's from another world. The big bad in the other world captures her, brings her to her home world, and it's just in devastation. A friend of the family helps her escape back. It's kind of a lot going on in 3 issues. They really should have spread this story out a little bit because it's easy to get lost. But overall, I think it's a good character. I think it's a new character. I think it's a good character. I think we're going to get more of her in future content. Now that they've hurried up and gotten this whole origin thing out of the way, let's get to the fighting the big bad and actually getting a comic book story out of this. This does not read like one. There were some things in it that were kind of comic booky, but most of it just read like more like a teen drama. I think that's a fair assessment. Moving on to Marvel, Black Cat, man, you got to love her jokes, got to love her style, and you got to love her lines. Boy, she's hot in this book. Good stuff there. And we find out that there's a gangster out there that wants to hire a security guard who tried to stop Black Cat earlier and got really close, yada, yada, yada. A lot of words, right? But overall, good book, good storytelling. I really like the characters in this. I think they're truly eye-catching. Next, we got Secret Warps Part 2. Hex. Weapon Hex. This is good. I'm really liking the Speed Weasel character. It's a cross between a speedster. What's the speedster? It's related to Scarlet Witch. What was his name?
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
That guy.
Yeah, you know that guy.
That guy. Quicksilver, and Honey Badger. And man, are they doing a good job. It's funny stuff. And then Weapon Hex herself. Great stuff in here. We also get a first appearance of this Tigra lady who's a cross between. It's fun reading this and trying to figure out what each character is kind of warped with. I think that's part of the fun in this. It's like a little game inside the book. Because sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, sometimes it's an obscure character, sometimes it's not. It's just fun to read for that. Plus, the storylines in here are just classic storybook telling that anybody can enjoy. Unfortunately, Amazing Spider-Man this week is going to be a blast. Basically, just quick breakdown. Mary Jane did something clever on a stage because she was a movie actress at one point, and everybody loves her again. This Kindred and Mysterio story, that seems interesting. That's more into the comic book line that we've been talking about. And there's a plan being hatched there to use Mary Jane to some degree. And then the last story in it was so forgettable that I've already forgotten it. Next, Captain America, Marvel Tales. This is nothing more than a 4-issue reprint of some of the most classic Captain America stories ever. Again, Coates, if you're out there, and by any chance you're reading this, Great reference material, because this is good stuff. This is where Captain America came from. All right, and huge big shout out. I went to the Richmond Comic Con, and I gotta compliment these people because it's just great. And I did a walk around. That video will be up hopefully today. And I've already done my review of these comic books and what I got there in my haul video. And I got to tell you, I fell in love with the gentleman that does Delta Dog. Let me get it out of the plastic. First off, right there on the cover, you find out you're dealing with a superhero team and they're all related. It's based, and the entire stories are based right here in Virginia. So you'll see like Norfolk, Virginia, Richmond, whatever. They all have unique powers, and it's done I love the dialogue in this and the dialect that they use. It's very consistent with people here in Virginia. I think they have very unique powers. These guys know how to write a comic book. I don't understand why this is not being sold in comic books. I went ahead and picked up all 3 issues so I could just be caught up. Great story, great grittiness to it. They know when to be funny. The jokes land every single time. There's a little bit of an urban flair to it that definitely makes it unique, especially when people are talking, and just the togetherness of family overall and how important that is in communities. This is a good book. I'll be honest, out of everything I read this week, those 3 issues right there are my pick of the week. Delta Dogs. Definitely look them up. It looks like they're going through Millennial Comics right now. Issues 1, 2, and 3 are out, and I only see this getting better. Go check it out. They're on YouTube. Also, in my walk around video of the Richmond Comic Con, I did a quick interview with them as well, where they kind of pitched me their comic book. And I'll be honest, man, I love young people. Hopefully, they're younger than me, so it shouldn't be offensive. Young people out there, they created something and they're hustling to get it sold. That's just ingenuity. I'll support that all day long. That was good stuff. Good job.
Nice. Okay. I picked up Superman 13 just because it's Adam Hughes cover. That was it. No other reason than not picking up Superman. Just to go get Lois Lane cover. Better than the last Lois Lane cover, which I threw off my balcony. Another Adam Hughes cover by Mark Waid and Eulis, Invisible Woman #1. So Invisible Woman, essentially, they have a little backstory of her going on some missions for the government. One of the people she was with, that her partner is now in trouble, now captured. He was able to get one word out, which was Stormy. That was her nickname when she was working with him. So she feels she needs to go try to help find him. It's a blast. It's got cool Adam Hughes cover. #2 has another cool Adam Hughes cover too, so I'll probably pick it up just for Hughes. But Black Widow shows up at the end of this, so we're gonna have a little girl power probably moment moving forward. Thor #15, 1 issue left in this run, and then Jason Aaron goes on to King Thor. So they're wrapping up this. This is just a recap, kind of War of the Realms, and how the old Allfather is happy with Thor. I don't like this art very much. This is Del Mundo. I know Drew likes it a lot. I don't know, this whole painted look I don't dig very much. But I'll end up picking up issue 16 just to have it wrap up and then continue on with King Thor. So Thor #15 is a stash. And then let's see, what else have I got here? Red Sonja, Birth of She-Devil #2. Haven't had time to read this one yet, so this is it's cool. Another Perello cover. That's one reason I got it. The first one, she wasn't too bad. Thought I'd give #2 a shot, but I haven't read it. And I picked up this mainly because of the cover as well. And this is Black Cat #2. And this is the Carnage Eyes. This is by God dang it, who's the artist on this? It's usually a husband and wife team. They do a lot of stuff together. This is, I should know it right off the bat, but I don't. Dotson.
Failed us.
I failed. Terry and Rachel Dotson. I mean, Usually I could identify Terry Dodson stuff, but I haven't read that one yet either. So those are my books for the week. Joe's done his books for the week. Let's talk about the winner of June's Patreon pick, and that is Kirby Hughes. So, oh my goodness, earthquake! I'm hitting my table and shit moving. I'll get a hold of you, Kirby, and let you know you get to pick me between the Vampirella cover or the I got another Black Cat cover I just ordered. The Mayhew Black Cat or the Vampirella cover. That's right. You can choose from those. I'll get a hold of you, send you a message out, let you pick which one you want, and I'll get that out to you. Thanks for supporting us. Thank everybody from our Patreon for supporting us in this channel. Again, almost all the money that we earn from that, which is not very much, ended up going back to people who do support us. So
don't let them lie. We're all rich because of that Patreon.
Yeah, we're rich. Yeah. So rich. I am trying to do something special for all the patrons who have been supporting us over this past year, working on a gift bag. So if you haven't gone to our Patreon patron page and check that out, I talked about, hey, give me your shirt size, give me a few characters you like. I'm gonna try to get a special package out to everybody who's been supporting us over this past year, just to make it a little more enticing for people to come in and support. It's all going to be out of pocket on that, so definitely come by and support us that way. What else we got going on? We got our podcast, which is the audio from this, usually loaded up. I've been getting kind of behind with everything else going on with the move, so I've been kind of getting behind on that. I've been doing videos, trying to do videos once a week on what to pull at your comic book stores every Wednesday, and I've been doing videos on the previews guide, kind of what's coming out, a couple months from now. Definitely go check those videos out. Go check out everybody from the Blasted or Stash It panel. I mean, you only see 2 of us here. There's actually 5 of us total on the panel just because of the way the schedule is right now. So we got Spectacular Spider Grandpa, we got Drew Manchu, we got Midwest Comic Man, and of course Pocan Joe and myself, who all have our own individual channels. And I keep hitting my desk, this cheesy little desk that I got set up for the temporary time, and it's shaking everything. Go check out our Facebook page. We have a Twitter. We have Instagram. Go check it out. Follow us on all of those. And I think that's it. We're going to go on and wrap this up. I'll get it ready to roll for tonight. Any last minute things you want to say, Joe, real quick?
Hey guys, don't forget the Comic Corps is still doing their win a trip to Baltimore Comic Con. Definitely get a video do that. I think I've done 3 videos already because I don't think there's any limit. I've sung a song. I've outright begged. I did it logically. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next one. Maybe
do a live Facebook video on their page.
You're right. Do a live video. I should do that. Other than that, over on my channel, I did my walk around where we interviewed and just did a walk around the comic channel. I did my haul video that should already be posted. And then I'll probably in the chat right now. So thank you for coming in the chat if you're in there. Thank you for the comments. We will figure this timing thing out and we will get it squared away where everybody can come back. It's always more fun with everybody here.
It definitely is. I definitely miss those guys. And I know they're all, they may think, may not even come back now after being gone this long. They go, screw that guy. I'm not coming back.
Oh, no, it's not an option. They have to come back.
Oh, they have to come back. Okay.
It's not a, oh, no.
Again, so next week, we're still working on time because I'm headed out of town early Sunday morning for a trip and I'll be gone all week. So we're going to try to record an episode maybe a little earlier and still air at the 7 o'clock time on Sunday or 10 o'clock Eastern. And then, but the following Sunday probably definitely will not have a show because I'll be coming home late Saturday night. I will not be able to get my books and be able to do a review show Sunday morning. So that's it for this week. Thanks everybody for stopping by. We definitely do appreciate it. Again, go check out our Patreon. Go check out those prizes that we're giving out. They're definitely worth your $1 or $2 a month. So whether you blast it, whether you stash it, happy reading, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.